Why have I cancelled my P&O cruise? Well guys, things have changed with P&O. P&O is not the same beast as they were when I first originally booked. P&O, the cutbacks, the service, there's so much that's changed. So for me personally, I need to change. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening guys. Hope you're all good. Welcome back to my channel. If you've not seen me before, my name is Dalimore and we're filming this video on a very sunny, glorious day. Honestly, the weather is amazing outside. Why can't it be like this 365 days of the year? It's lovely outside. But today I thought we would chat because, listen, for anyone that doesn't know, I'm a huge P&O Cruises fan. We have actually just recently sailed with P&O Cruises on Iona, and we did have a cruise planned and booked for the Easter holidays. But I have actually decided to cancel our P&O Cruises holiday. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why. Why have I cancelled it? Why will I not be sailing with P&O for the rest of the year? Because for anyone that doesn't know, I am probably... well, I wouldn't say I'm one of the biggest P&O fans, but I'm definitely up there as being a huge P&O loyalist. I absolutely love the P&O branding. I absolutely love P&O Cruises. But listen, I first started sailing with P&O in 2019. My first ever cruise ship was Iona, RIP Oceana, one of my favourite ships to this day. Absolutely loved that cruise ship. I went on there with my little brother. He was 13 at the time. It was my first time taking my little brother on a holiday, and it was our first cruise. I'd watched a few vlogs prior and I'd done like a little bit of like trip planning, but it was solely our first ever cruise. Didn't really know what to expect from cruising. Didn't really know how cruising worked whatsoever, but we went on our first cruise and we had the best time. Firstly, Oceana is such a beautiful ship. And I came off that cruise after spending 2 weeks sailing around Croatia, Italy, the south of France, visiting Malta, visiting places I'd never been before, thinking, oh my god, this is the best experience ever. Waking up every day, not having to get on planes, opening up your balcony door and looking into a new city or a new country or a new town. I literally got off that cruise sold to cruising. Sold. But not only sold to cruising, sold to P&O, because I thought, wow, the service, the offerings, the cleanliness, the food, everything was better than I had ever experienced on land before. But listen, things have changed since 2019. So grab yourselves a coffee and get ready for this one. For anyone that's a huge P&O fan, grab yourselves a drink. So listen, like I say, I started cruising in 2019. And our cruise, I went on there with my nana and I went on there with my mum, my brother. And what ended up happening is we ended up basically becoming like a bit of sales agents for P&O, because then once I started cruising, I started telling everyone else, oh my god, P&O are amazing, you need to start cruising with P&O, they're brilliant. But then unfortunately we had all these cruises planned in 2020 and then the pandemic hit and then obviously no one was able to cruise. So that was a bit, obviously everyone went through that, everyone knows how that went. And then obviously the cruising world opened up again, and because at the time we weren't fully vaccinated, we weren't able to sail with P&O, but we were able to sail with MSC, because at the time MSC Virtuosa was offering people who weren't vaccinated were able to get on the cruise and just show a negative PCR test. Doesn't that take you back, guys? Can you remember them days? Remember them days where you had a test and you didn't know if you were actually going on your holiday unless it was shown negative? It's crazy world, isn't it? It's crazy. It's crazy to think that that's what used to happen. I suppose it still happens in some places. It's still not fully gone. We've still actually got a test centre in the Trafford Centre, actually, so it's still going. It's not fully gone yet. People are still having to test to go certain places. But anyway, I digress. I'm going on a right tangent here. We sailed with Virtuosa. We sailed in MSC. And everyone was saying before I got on that MSC cruise, Danny, if you've sailed with P&O, you're going to notice the changes between P&O and MSC, because MSC is known as more of a budget line. This is just words people were using to me. This is not my opinion. This is what people were saying to me. MSC is more of a budget line. P&O is more of your premium line. That was obviously, I know for some people who've just recently sailed with P&O, be like premium. P&O. But this was obviously prior to P&O reopening, and it was just MSC that were going at the time. Again, during the pandemic, I was still not able to sail with P&O because I wasn't fully vaccinated. So we booked a Disney cruise, and just as we booked, we ended up becoming fully vaccinated. So we were able to go on the Disney Magic at Sea, and we had the most amazing time. Again, amazing service on board, but people said, well, if you like P&O, you might not like Disney because Disney is very Disney. Obviously, I am a Disney fan, so of course I love Disney. But everyone was saying Disney's very Disney, it's very different to P&O. And I got on Disney, and I had a great time. And then the world opened up, and we were able to cruise again. And then me and Con, my partner, before my little boy moved in, we went on Iona, and we went up to the Norwegian fjords. And I have to be honest with you, that cruise was an eye-opener for me, because I had cruised with P&O 2019, I'd cruised with MSC, and I'd cruised with Disney during the pandemic. And I got on that P&O cruise ship, and the only thing I kept noticing was cutback after cutback after cutback, because I had got on Oceana in 2019 and had the most amazing experience, being blown away by afternoon tea, the turned down room service twice a day, all of these additional extras, and then getting on the ship, no afternoon tea, it's a paid for service, no turn down service on the evening. Food quality seemed to have gone down. However, it was Con's first cruise, and he was blown away. And he was like, do you know what? This is a really good offer, and actually I'm really having fun here. It's really good. So Con was loving it, but all I kept thinking is, oh wow, this is very different to what I experienced in 2019. Why has there been such a change? Anyway, didn't think anything of it. I just blamed Oceana. Not Oceana, I blamed Iona. Oceana's long gone. It's been retired. It's in Turkey being scrapped. Actually, I don't even know what's happening with Oceana now. Can someone let me know in the comments, where is Oceana? Like, is it somewhere else? I don't even know where it is. But anyway, I noticed the changes. That's all that kept sticking into me. Now, I'm not someone that gets on a cruise with a notepad and pen and goes, hang on, no, cross. I'm not that type of person. But these are the things you remember. You do remember that afternoon tea because it was bloody lovely. So if you were someone that got to cruise with P&O before they got rid of it as a free service, oh God, honestly, it was so good. I remember eating so much food. I felt so bloated after it. It was so good. You know, having that afternoon tea, that turn down service on an evening with a little chocolate on your bed. I know it's not the end of the world. I know it's like, oh my God, there's so many bigger things happening in the world. But it's something that you remember. When you go on holiday, you want your holiday to feel better than what you would have at home. I don't have someone turning down my bed at home. I wish I did, but I don't. So it's nice when you go on holiday to have that service. But when it's gone, because I've had it prior, you really notice the change. You know, you really see that change. Anyway, we got off the Iona ship, and I went on Royal Caribbean with my best mate Liam, and we had the most amazing holiday. And all I kept saying to Liam is, oh my God, this is what P&O was like in 2019. We had the turn down service. I don't know if they've still got it. Obviously, I've not sailed with Royal Caribbean since. Like the turn down service morning and night. The food was like out of this world. Just everything. There was so much food offering, so it was brilliant. And we just had the most amazing cruise. And one of the things I found with Royal Caribbean is it wasn't nickel and diamond. It wasn't like, oh, well, do you want to pay for this? Do you want to pay for that? Do you want to pay for this? I just had a totally different experience to what I had with P&O. But then, obviously, as we know, Royal Caribbean is like double the price sometimes of a P&O holiday. Disney is like 10 times. Who on earth is booking these Disney cruises? That's so expensive. Like, maybe that should be a separate video. Who are these clowns that book Disney cruises? To be fair, most of them are my friends. Because we're huge Disney fans. I can't bring myself though to book a Disney cruise. They're too expensive for me. It's just not value for money in my opinion. I know there's going to be people that are watching this going, Danny, as if you're trading us in. And no, I can't bring myself to spend $3,000 on a 3-night cruise. Like, I could stay at the Ritz for that in London. You know what I mean? That's a lot of money. But obviously, if you're a Disney fan, you can't get it. But I don't get it. I do not get it. But yeah, anyway, we know Disney's more expensive. We know P&O, obviously, are the cheapest line at the moment. So, it came to this year. Obviously, we were on Iona recently. Prior to that, we had sailed on Ventura with the family. Again, we noticed huge changes. My uncle went on Azura, Ventura's sister ship, and from the time of him being on Ventura to being on Azura, he was saying that he noticed cutbacks, staffing being the big thing. He was really struggling to get a drink. And I was saying to Martin, like, it's my uncle, I was saying that's only been 9 months since we cruised on Ventura. To then notice the changes on Azura, like that short of time, is crazy. And then, obviously, as you would have seen in the vlogs, we went on Iona, and my mum, my nana, even my brother was saying the entertainment, the service, just for examples, when it comes to Iona for entertainment, there was days, and if you've watched the vlog series, you'll know this. If you haven't, obviously, I'll link it below, and you can watch I think it's like an 8-part series on Iona, and we go through the entertainment offerings and food, and we basically show you the whole ship over an 8-part series. There was days where we would open that horizon, and I'm like, what on earth are we meant to do? We had 3 sea days at one point. What on earth are we meant to do on this ship? There's nothing on. There was this lady, bless her, who was really nice. I ended up speaking to her at one point on the ship, but she was offering like knitting at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, really? Like, obviously for a certain calibre of people who are on the ship, that might be great, a knitting seminar, but that's the only thing that's happening today. Like, oh no. No. So there was times where like we would sit and we would go, there's nothing to do. This is nothing. And then obviously they have the shows in the domes on the evening, but they were repeating the same shows. Like, the same shows were being repeated over a 2-week period. And we did come off that cruise going, I think 2 weeks is too long, which is insane. It's insane to say a 2-week holiday is too long, right? Because at the end of the day, when I go to Florida for 2 weeks, I'm literally leaving on day 14. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to leave. I want to stay because I'm having such a good time. You couldn't have paid me to stay on that. You really couldn't have paid us. I needed off that ship. I was getting cabin fever. I said this a lot in the series, didn't I? If you've watched it, I was literally saying, I'm getting cabin fever here. I'm struggling. I'm literally struggling here. Like, I just need off that ship. And do you know, everyone, like my whole family would be like, remember guys, you have to be back on the ship at 4 o'clock. No wonder Manana and Ruby nearly got lost. They probably didn't want to get back on. Because yeah, if you haven't seen the series, Manana and Ruby, 2 of the people that were in the Travelling with Us, my cousin and Manana, they got lost and they nearly missed the ship. They were like 7 minutes late after the boarding time. So yeah, it was a bit of a drama. But yeah, I needed to get back on. I needed to get off, not get back on. I needed to get off that ship. So that brings me to why have I cancelled my P&O cruise. So I'm going to be honest, I'm going to show a bit of shade here to P&O because so I had a cruise booked with P&O. It was on Britannia, and I pretty much paid for 50% of the holiday. And I rang P&O, and I did book it on Saver Fare. But I rang P&O. We paid nearly £600 off that holiday, and P&O were just like, no, you can't change, because my original idea was I would like to change the holiday and move it to a later day. And the lady who I spoke to on the phone was very much like, no, you can't change it. You either go on this cruise or you lose your money, you lose everything that you've paid. And I just thought, if a company that is earning billions, because they are, obviously, P&O is not, you know, it's part of the Carnival Corporation. So P&O is an absolute huge beast in the cruising industry. They've got a lot of money. We're not talking about little small, you know, cruise line here. I don't want to name any small cruise lines just in case I offend anyone. But, you know, it's not a little cruise line here. They've got a lot of money. They've got a lot of their ships are full. So all I wanted to do was just move that as a gesture of goodwill of sailing with 9 P&O cruises so far in the space of like 5 years. All I wanted was to move mine, and they were like, no, you either you either use it or lose it, and you need to pay the full balance. And I really had to think about what I wanted from our future trips, because the thing for me, guys, is, and I know some of you have commented on this, I have kind of fell into a bottleneck of just being like, no, I just want to go on P&O because I love the P&O brand. But I feel like this is the year where I try new things, I go and do new things, because I feel like I'm just regurgitating the same stuff, doing the same ships, doing the same thing, because I love them. But I can't get my head around of how many cutbacks have been on P&O. So, here is out. I went online after losing me money with that P&O cruise, and I found a cruise ship called, well, I found a cruise line called MSC, which I've cruised with before. And I can hear people going, oh my God, Danny, what you done? And we're going on MSC World Europa, which is one of their newest ships as the day I'm filming this. I believe tomorrow they're getting the brand new World America or something, or Americas, whatever it's called. But we have booked an MSC cruise. We're leaving in 2 weeks. So as we should have been getting on a P&O ship, we're getting on an MSC ship. And we're going to give MSC a go. Now, listen, feel free to let me know your thoughts and opinions below, but it is already booked and paid for and paid in full, and we leave in 2 weeks. Believe it or not, it's around about the same price as what I was going to be paying for the P&O cruise. So it's very much the same price, the same value, but it's a whole new experience. The reason why I've decided to go with MSC is the slides, the entertainment offerings. For obviously I'm traveling with my little boy, so that's going to be a much better feel for him. Again, I found the Iona quite boring at some points, being stuck on it for like 7 sea days. My little boy, who is, you know, he's very little, he doesn't want to sit in kids club for 7 days. He wants the slides. I want to be able to go down the slides with him. I want to be able to, you know, do other activities. You know, I did feel like we lost him to kids club because that was the only real thing apart from the pools he could do. So it's going to be nice getting on MSC. They've got a bowling alley. They've got so many shops that we can go and explore together. They've got the slides. We're going to experience so much, and I can't wait. So, why have I cancelled my P&O cruise? Well, guys, things have changed with P&O. P&O is not the same beast as they were when I first originally booked. P&O, the cutbacks, the service, there's so much that's changed. So for me, personally, I need to change and I need to try something, because I feel like if I keep doing the same thing, I'm going to fall out of love with cruising, which is not what I want to do. And, you know, I watch so many other cruise vloggers. Emma cruises with so many other different cruise lines. Fraser, you cruise with so many different cruise lines. There's so many cruise vloggers that I chat to that I call friends. And all ears will travel with more cruise lines than just P&O. And in fact, a lot of yous don't even travel with P&O. A lot of yous avoid P&O. So I feel like this is the year where I'm going to try some new things. I may come back and do a video in a few months and go, guys, I'm going to swallow a drink of shame and I'm going to go straight back to P&O. Or I might come back and go, do you know what? I'm going to start experimenting and try different cruise lines. There's so many cruise lines out there. You've got MSC, you've got Celebrity, you've got Royal Caribbean, you've got Virgin, which I definitely want to cruise with Virgin, but my little boy won't be able to go, so maybe we'll leave him at home for a few days. There's so many other cruise lines that we can cruise with. It doesn't just have to be P&O. And I feel like this is the year where I'm going to try new things. So, yeah. I hope that makes sense. I just wanted to come on and do a video about why I've changed my cruise, because so many of you are asking when you're going on this P&O cruise, because obviously after I told everyone that I was going on a P&O cruise, and then I thought, well, I'm going to have to tell people I haven't got a P&O cruise, and they're going to ask why, so I thought if I just do a video. Let me know who you cruising with this year. Are you going on a cruise? If you're from my Disney community, are you going on a Florida holiday this year? Or are you going back on a cruise? And let me know if you've got any hints and tips about cruising with MSC. Positive tips if you've got them, but I'm happy to take the negative tips as well. And anyway, guys, I'm going to call it there. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a little smash of that like button, and if you haven't clicked subscribe already, consider subscribing, because we're going to have an 8-part MSC cruise vlog series coming, which is going to be exciting. We're visiting all these gorgeous ports. I've actually got the booking confirmation behind us here, so I'm going to get that out shortly, and I need to start booking some excursions, actually. We are flying with Jet2. Honestly, let me tell you, just before I go, We've got flights with Jet2. We've got free seats with Jet2. I honestly thought because they're a low frills airline that we'd have to pay for everything like you do with EasyJet, but nope, free seats and everything. So I'm buzzing with that. And yeah, if you're part of my Patreon, there is all my Patreon members. Please do come over and have a look at Patreon. We do live streams on a Friday. We do have a live stream tomorrow talking about this cruise and all our planning. I think I might actually book excursions with you guys tomorrow because maybe you guys can give me a hand of what excursions to book and which ones not to book. And we might do some Florida planning tomorrow as well. So yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. That was so cringe. Bye, guys!